Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 14th of 2022, and ever since the very end of the Boba Fett series, a lot of Star Wars fans have really been looking forward to shows such as the Ahsoka Tano series, the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, which by the way brings a return of both Hayden and Ewan as Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have a lot of things on the table by Disney and Lucasfilm to really succeed with the Star Wars universe at hand. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now is that, yes, there are a lot of things happening at the same exact time when it comes to production. We have the Ahsoka series that's going to begin filming by this April. We have the Mandalorian Season 3 that's going to end filming by the end of this month. And we also have a lot of problems happening with the Acolyte TV series by both Kathleen Kennedy and, of course, Leslie Headland. So there's a lot of things happening between Disney and Lucasfilm and exactly what's going on with their structure and the roadmap of Star Wars, but for the most part, everything's looking great. I mean, everything's looking like things are moving along smoothly and pretty much moving through, of course, with all their plans by George, John, and Dave. Now, when you look at everything related to how they're going to be combining Star Wars Legends and Star Wars canon material under Disney, that's where the true art comes into play by John and Dave. That's exactly what they're trying to succeed with, is exactly how they can really balance things out with what's too much Legends and what's too little Legends. They really want to make sure that they can do, pretty much the impossible. So when you look at everything related to that, one thing that a lot of Star Wars fans are very intrigued about is exactly what's going on with, of course, other TV shows that are going to be including the character of Luke Skywalker, and what's really even all the more interesting is exactly what Mark Hamill recently had to say about the character of Luke and both Disney and Lucasfilm as companies. Now, specifically, given that Disney and Lucasfilm are preparing to make a series of announcements at Star Wars Celebration, the Ahsoka Tano series is getting ready to begin filming by this April that will eventually release sometime in 2023. However, in a recent interview with actor Mark Hamill about his role as Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill went on to heavily criticize both Disney and Lucasfilm as companies and its impact on the Star Wars fandom. Mark Hamill goes on to say, "What really bothered me with how Disney treated my character in the sequels is that it almost came off as intentional that they wanted to devolve my character into something that the fans would resent. I was always very unhappy with the way things were going for both episodes 7 and 8, and when they brought me back for 9, I almost wasn't even going to do it. I figured maybe I could actually have some more significant scenes in the final version of the movie, but they mostly and strictly stuck with the Force Ghost sequences that I provided." He goes on to say, "I always felt bad with the Star Wars fans at the time. I had to create this image of myself that I really enjoyed what Disney was doing with Luke Skywalker. I mean, how do you pick up a franchise as big as Star Wars and devolve the biggest character in pop culture? Okay, maybe not the biggest, maybe I am being a bit overboard, but definitely very prominent in pop culture." So let me just stop right there from what Mark Hamill is saying here, is that basically what he is admitting now is that he was putting up with Disney's demands of himself to create this false image that he actually loved what Disney was doing with Luke Skywalker, that he really enjoyed with what they were doing with the character of Luke in episodes 7 and 8 by both J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Now, in case you guys didn't know, Michael Arndt, the original creator of Episode 7, wanted to have Luke Skywalker in the majority of the movie, and that is something that Mark Hamill was more excited about. But when JJ stepped in, they really wanted to make it more or less a glorified cameo at the end of the movie. Now, again, that's fine and all. They set things up and really opened the gateway to amazing possibilities, but what we got in The Last Jedi was truly horrible, and it really kind of just devalues that big climactic piece in Episode 7. It really does. So when you look at everything related to what Mark Hamill is saying here, is that number one, he is admitting that he had to act like he really enjoyed the character of Luke back and forth, and number two is that he felt really bad for the fandom. He really did. I mean, he felt truly bad for the Star Wars fans. I mean, you can only imagine what this guy was going through. If you guys have seen the interviews back in 2017, back in 2018, post The Last Jedi, you can see the true sadness on his face and the true frustration within his soul. You can really just see it. There's something about it, but you can just see it. Anyways, moving on. So he goes on to state that I just can't grip things into reality, that Disney did this to my character and how badly it upsetted the entire Star Wars community. When Jon and Dave came on board for The Mandalorian, I instantly felt like I was in good hands and saved. Because let's face it, Luke is my legacy. Luke is a part of me and always will be. There is no escaping that, and I don't say that to complain. I love that's what my life is right now. But Disney really poisoned that for myself for a long time and for the fans. And I always felt so bad and sorry that I had to put up with what they wanted me to say about my thoughts of Luke and his role in the sequel trilogy films. It's one thing to limit my character's screen time to practically nothing in Episode 7 compared to what they originally wanted to do. It's another thing for Disney and Lucasfilm to completely strip down my character into the role that was so unrecognizable to the Star Wars fans and the entire community. And you know what? He's got a point there when he says this. Basically, nobody recognized that version of Luke as Luke Skywalker. That's why the running joke is Jake Skywalker. That's how Mark Hamill views him, just as this different version of Luke. But the thing about this as well is that this is also Mark Hamill being more vocal, being more direct to the fans, that, you know, he really didn't like what they were doing with Luke right from the get-go, even with Episode 7. They didn't like what they were doing, of course, or he didn't like that, because they limited his screen time to basically 2 minutes, maybe not even than that, and that really bothered him, because he was used to what Michael Arndt was doing in the beginning by making Luke a prominent figure in the movie with Daisy Ridley's Rey, and at the time, Daisy Ridley's Rey, by the way, was called Kira, in case you guys didn't know, but everything related to that. This is, of course, Mark Hamill being more direct, being more honest, and it's about time already. I mean, it's 2022. I think he's doing this obviously because now Jon and Dave have Luke in good hands, and he feels more, you know, I guess you could say, in line with how he has to come out to the fans, in line with more, you know, being honest to the Star Wars fandom. And he has this security now because Jon and Dave are taking care of things. So moving on from that, he goes on to also say, I mean this when I say this, I really felt very bad and awful having to put up with this image that I love their direction, but now that Jon and Dave seem to be doing great things, I will be honest, I feel like I am at peace finally again with my legacy. I feel just as I did back in 2013, when I believed that Disney would handle this character properly at the time. It's just a magical feeling of what Jon and Dave are putting together, and I am forever grateful for that. That's something that nobody can take away from me. I love what they did in Mando, and I enjoyed Luke even more in the Book of Boba Fett, even though I was not even involved in that show. So yeah, that is an interesting thing to bring up in case you guys did not know this. Mark Hamill had zero involvement in the Book of Boba Fett, and he did have involvement in The Mandalorian Season 2, but they really wanted to use more of the deep fake technology instead, using, of course, the Book of Boba Fett series. You know, they wanted to use the deep fake technology in there instead. So I think that Mark Hamill, you know, got to give a lot of credit to him at the very minimum, because this probably took a lot of guts for him to actually say this. This took a lot of honesty, and it was way, you know, past what any fan would have actually expected him to say, because I believe and fully do that he said this because Jon and Dave are finally taking care of his character, and they will be now from now on. Anyways, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.